What's this? Okay, hello guys, and today on episode 13, I've got ESG Fitness. What's going on, Emma?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm excited to have you.
Yeah, me too.
Where are you at the moment?
So despite the accent, I live in Scotland. So
I know.
that's where I am.
I did ask you that before the podcast, so that did sound a little bit generic for the people that are listening. But I didn't actually know where she was based, and we met in Body Power like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
right? For the first time, I think.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And then I don't like. Other than that, I don't think we've really like spoken much, have we?
I think I waved at you at IFS and you were like...
Did we? No, don't. No, see that was you at Body Power to me. I heard.
Were you getting your own back?
I heard rumors you're the big dog at Body Power. Is this true? No, you got the connects there. I've seen you move. I've seen you work the floor over there, man.
You know what? It's because I'm like a grandma in the industry now. I think I've been to Body Power like 7 times.
Wait, hold on. How old are you?
28.
Oh, we're the same age.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, I'm 21.
No. Are you 1992, yeah?
91, so I am.
Oh,
I am
you're
older.
a little bit older. What month?
October.
I swear that. I'm March 14th, so next time on my birthday, just feel free to send me whatever you like.
Have you got to the stage that you forget how old you are yet?
I've got to the stage where I just don't care about birthdays.
Yeah, I'm not. I did, like, this was not long ago. Someone asked my age and I couldn't remember if I was 27 or 28, so I had to check my Tinder profile.
Oh, Tinder profile.
If you forget, there's a tip for you.
Okay. That was a hint, guys. She's single. Guys or girls, I don't even know. I don't know. It could be anything and anyone. I was like, when people start...
It literally could be anyone.
Oh, there you go. Yes, that's what I love, man. Yeah. All right. So before we get into some bits, I need to ask you the question I ask everyone, which is, what is your Nando's order?
Okay. Medium spice.
Okay.
Is that bad?
No, that's good. Oh, you've
okay.
Never ate a Nando's, have you?
Yeah, no. Medium spice wrap with peas.
What? No peri-peri chips?
No, no.
No wonder you got ridiculous abs. Your abs are actually a joke, you know.
They're not at the moment, unfortunately.
But you've got like that perfect. Have you competed?
No, I never competed. And do you know why? I don't particularly like being center of attention, and I can't walk in heels, and it would just not be like going on stage is not my idea of fun.
It would. You're telling me it wouldn't work out for you. Not like you want it.
Good time. I think people forget so much of competing is like how you pose and how you walk and your bikini style and all that stuff, and that really doesn't interest me that much.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not going to lie. I just think it's one of the cringiest things on earth. If I'm being honest.
Do you know what? It totally is. But then when you're there with everyone else who's like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen, you're kind of like, okay, maybe this is amazing. But if you take a step, like the first time I went to a bodybuilding show, I was scarred. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
I've been to one, went to one, and the mad thing is there were so many naked birds around that it just became normal to me. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, but all I could think was, I was looking at guys, and no offense to anyone that does bodybuilding, but I swear I could just see insecurities through them.
Yeah. And
it's like, it's kind of sad, but
it is strange, isn't it? Like, it's almost like people then complain that they're being judged like by the way they look, and it's like, that's exactly what you're doing when you go on a bikini stage or a bodybuilding stage. You are asking people to judge you solely on how you look. And that's how insecurities creep up, because if you're like, if the thing that makes you successful is having great abs,
no
wonder you're going to be insecure when you don't have those.
You know what? Although I've never actually thought of it from that angle before. I've never thought of it like that, actually. Although I know it's down to how you look, but I forgot, because they do the little sections where like you talk and shit. I don't know. You show your talent or something. I don't know. Or is that from Pretty Woman?
What?
Or maybe not. Maybe not. I think I got
Isn't
that
that
from
like
Pretty
a beauty
Woman.
pageant?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like,
I was at the wrong show.
oh God.
But like,
Mm.
it's mad. But you would never compete, right?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Do you tell like your friends that do compete? Do you give your opinion to them? Because I do.
I would always support, like if any of my mates want to compete, I'd completely support them, but I think they could probably tell that it wasn't,
Yeah.
like I wouldn't think it was,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm more about what they can offer the world as opposed to just how they look. And I think it would be the same with any kind of modeling. Like it would be a hard thing to do. I think
Yeah.
young girls probably think, oh, being a model would be amazing. But what if like they want a different look that year and you're out?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I think it would be really tough not to have massive insecurities and put so much of your self-worth onto how you look if that was your job.
yeah, 100%. And I'm not gonna lie, like I was a fat kid. So I've had those thoughts and I've got into shape for that reason. But then when you do put on a bit of weight, there's that process of like, I remember being lean, not knowing at the time, but
Yeah.
but eating dinner and like legit, as soon as I like have a bite, I'm like pinching my fat. Honestly. And I'm like, now I'm thinking about it. Obviously, I was younger and I didn't know. And my family, they weren't very educated on like nutrition, food, and that stuff. And I'd like pinch my fat and think like, oh, legit, like I can't believe how stupid that is. It's like I'm eating it and it's going straight
Yeah.
to my fat. And then I would go upstairs and I'd look in the mirror. And even at one point when I was playing football in Turkey, when I was playing football, they always told me that I needed to stay in shape. Like I need to be a certain weight because I was always a big kid. And I remember going to my room and doing fucking sit-ups, push-ups, like just random shit because I thought I was just getting fat when I was actually like really lean.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, wait, I have a theory. Do you agree with this?
okay.
Me and my friend both think that like I was a really like fugly child, okay? And you being like a fat kid when you were younger, I think that people who were like that when they were younger have better personalities now because you couldn't just rely on like I'm the best looking person in the room, everyone will like me.
100%.
Like you had to have something about you.
I think number one, it makes you a better personality. And number two, I think it makes you a way better coach.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because like, you know, like all the I'm assuming that you were quite lean when you were younger, like you were
Oh
slim.
yeah, like I've never struggled with my weight,
Okay, you
which I'm
never.
very fortunate about. But I think you're right in that a lot of people who haven't had that don't have any empathy.
Yeah.
Or I was speaking to a friend about this before when I used to run. I wasn't particularly good at it, but I
Yeah.
always came at personal training when I first started from like an athlete's mindset.
Yeah.
I'd be like, here's what you need to do. Obviously, you're going to go away and do that because that's what I've said and I'm your personal trainer. And
Yeah.
obviously, that's not how things work.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, sometimes I think the best athletes don't make the best coaches because they've never had to struggle.
That is another wicked point. That's so true. And even like Cristiano Ronaldo, he even said like he wouldn't coach. He just wouldn't coach. He's like, nah, I'm going to do my time and then I'll do other bits and bobs with business, but I'm not going to coach. And that's probably...
Yeah, but he's not going to have to coach, is he?
No, that's true.
He's got
That's
his
true.
Herbalife sponsorship to fall back on.
Oh, that kills me. That upsets me. But you know what? Do you know, apparently he gets, is it something like 6 million or 8 million for like 6 minutes or 12 minutes of airtime a year with Herbalife or something? Like something ridiculous. And he doesn't care. Like I've done videos before where they're doing like a tour in his house and he's got a personal chef, right? Obviously, you know, and even when he talks about it on his Herbalife video, because I've looked it up, and he's talking about in the gym, he's like, well, yeah, of course, like the supplement doesn't do it. I train hard, I eat very well, and blah blah blah. But when Herbalife post it,
yeah,
they just I've got in a lot of shit with them, man. I'm not gonna lie.
what with Herbalife?
Yeah, didn't you see my video that went viral?
What, and they actually contacted you?
The best bit about this was of when, you know, like me and James. If I do something, he'll jump on
Heard
it.
of them, yeah.
Yeah, you've heard of him. and then if he does something, we'll jump on it together. We'll make videos and blah blah blah. The funny thing is, like, they kind of they target him more because I had a smaller following, so it didn't affect me as much. But yeah, they contacted us and told us to behave pretty much. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. I was gonna say something. Going back to the point where you was like, kids that are like me, I was overweight, makes me a better coach and stuff. I think with you, I know you're a good coach, right? And you know how you said when you were a kid, you said you weren't as what was the word? You said fugly, is that right?
Fugly.
I don't want to say that. I feel bad saying that.
Yeah, you can't say that about me. I'll have to say it about myself.
Exactly. But I feel like because you've seen the side of maybe not being the most confident person and not liking attention, you haven't seen the side of being overweight, but you've maybe seen that side of like being the way you were at school. Therefore, you have a better understanding of people that, I don't know if the word is suffer, but people that struggle with weight loss, right?
Are your clients mostly, like, what's your demographic?
Female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any age, like mums?
Anything from mid-20s to late 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
What about
It is
yours?
interesting because it's normally like kind of similar, but maybe a little bit older. And I think it's normally people that have like tried so many of these quick fix diets, and then hopefully finally they stumble upon something that they understand and can actually work for them.
Yeah. And I think like with some things, like for example, I might get a client, I might sign someone up that doesn't click with me very well. They might go in your profile, sign up with you and go, oh, she's right up my alley. She's perfect for me. And I think sometimes with people, it takes time to find that person that they connect with, you know?
Yeah. And actually, I think that's why it's so important. Like, I feel like I know you from watching your stories. Like, I know your personality. And I think that's actually like, some people are like, oh, what's the point messing around on an Instagram story, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You could be putting out interesting information. It's like, yeah, but you're buying into that person. Like, they need to know. Is it even stupid things? Like, if you laugh at the same things, that's a good client. You're going to get on and they're going to listen to you. And I do think like you will attract what you put out. So you're never going to have a client who's like really snobby and would like hate some of the stuff you say. You just wouldn't attract them because they wouldn't come to you. And then I think that's almost a way of weeding out like crappy clients that aren't going to work for you.
100%. And I think that's why it's important for like personal trainers, anyone on social media, is to be their self, you know? Because when you're not, I mean, you get caught out. If like, for example, if I was to start talking about stuff or even try to be like, say, Martin McDonald or whatever, right? I'll get caught slipping. I'll get caught out where someone drops something and I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Whereas like someone asks me something now, I'll be like, hold on a second. I don't know. I'm going to ask Ben Carpenter and Martin McDonald. Yeah. You know, and I think people appreciate that more instead of being like, because people
and it's nice to have like a group of people you know now that's like, oh yeah, I don't know it, but this person will. Or if you're asking about gut health, go see this person or whatever. Because then you're not like, I don't know, you're just like, this person is better at that.
Exactly.
You find, I know you've done a bit on body positivity. Who did you have on?
I had a few people. I had an agent, and I also had a model that was on what's that show in America?
I think I follow her now, but I can't remember.
I remember her name. I can't pronounce it properly.
Okay.
I can't.
My question was going to be though.
Yeah, go on.
Like, do you feel like you have to be really careful with what you say?
I think I do, but what I've noticed with what I say, because my audience is female, right? I swear to God, females are way bitchier when it's just females.
Yeah.
It's crazy. When I say something, it's like they're looking at, oh, it's Diren. He's light humor, whatever. I get the message he's doing, but I'm not going to say that to him. But then I look at the comments of that video I did, right? I looked at the comments and the women are just going at each other.
That's the worst though. Like, it's like anti-feminism, isn't it? When you're like bringing down other women, I'm like, what are you doing? That like sets us back.
100%. I'm like, first of all, you're talking about, someone was like saying I was trying to bring women down when I did that video for that body positivity thing. And I was like, Jesus Christ, no, I'm not. Anyway. And then I see the same person trying to bring another woman down on the comments. I'm like yeah, I was like, how does that like make sense? But like with that topic, I think I do any topic. I have to be a little bit careful because I think when I was younger, well, when I first started doing videos and everything, my approach was a little bit too East London, like a little bit too like, yeah, bro, this, that. But then I was like, okay, hold on. I think the audience, I need to be a little bit more subtle and explain it in a way that they need to understand. Still get their attention, but get the point across without being fake, you know? But
Yeah.
I think there is always that struggle with, you got to be kind of a little bit careful. What about you? Do you struggle with that?
Yeah, I think so. Or more just like, you can basically say anything on the internet and someone's going to be like, oh, right, so you mean this? And it's like the completely opposite thing of what you were saying. Or they take your words out of context. And yes, I think you do have to be careful. But then I also think that, like, if you were too careful, you would never put anything out, because you'd be like, oh, if this certain like population reads this, it's not good for them. Like, even if you're talking about generic dieting advice,
Yeah.
and then someone comments being like, this is really unhelpful for anorexics. It's like, yeah, of course it is, because you shouldn't be dieting. But it's like, no message is going to be generalized to everyone unless it's just like physical activity is good for your health.
Yeah. But you know what? I've noticed like as people, we're just drawn to negativity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're so
Jamie had a saying about that, and it was like something like, you get like 10 times the attention from a negative thing as you do from positive, which is sad, but
it is sad, but it's what we're drawn. And I'll say this as well. I'll consider myself quite positive, but when I hear something negative, I'm like, ooh, what's going on there? What's going on there?
Yeah.
I want to know what's happening, or I'm going to go back onto that post and go see if there's an update. It's so bad, but we're drawn to it. And I know, like, I've heard from some of my younger cousins, like a lot of girls and stuff in schools with social media, like the bullying that happens when there's like negative stuff that's happening. I'm thinking, I'm kind of glad, like you as well, not probably, you are same age, but you know, we had that moment where like you enjoyed playing out without all the digital stuff, and then we were at that perfect time where Facebook and Insta started happening, so we got an insight of both worlds.
Yeah, and I think right now, like being a young kid or like just coming up through school and stuff with social media, I can't even imagine it.
I mean, imagine, yeah. I don't think I never used to get any work done anyway at school. I was so bad, like my attention.
Yeah, but now,
yeah, I was like, but imagine if there was everything that's happening now in school, then there is no way I would have even got through school. But like crazy. Will you message me? When did you message me? Like a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, and we were talking about NEAT.
We were talking about NEAT, and you said you had some studies. Is that right?
Yeah, I still think that although it's becoming more popular, obviously, by people like you, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like more people just thinking about their activity levels, even if it's not exercise.
Yeah.
But I still think that people like don't appreciate how big a role it can play in body weight regulation.
Yeah.
And there are some like really cool studies. In fact, my business partner for something always gets me in trouble for talking about this study, but okay. I like it. It's in mice.
Go for it.
Which is why she's like, that's irrelevant. But
okay.
I like it because in humans, obviously there's so many different things that are interacting now, but in mice, you can have full control over the mice. Yeah. But basically, if you put all the mice on the same diet, so let's say they're all in the same deficit, what still happens is that some mice lose more weight than others. And that's, you kind of see that with like, let's say your Project X clients, let's say you put them all in a 20% deficit. Yeah. You know that some of them are going to lose more weight than others. Yeah. And the reason behind that, like there's a couple of things, but the main reason is their NEAT. So how much, I think people forget that energy balance is not static. So it's not like, oh, I'll just reduce my calorie intake. Yeah, well, that is actually going to reduce your calorie output. Yes. Unless you do something about it.
Yes.
So in a sort of completely subconscious way, if you reduce someone's calories, they're going to reduce their output. And in mice, you see that the change in weight is directly proportionate to their change in activity. So that's the whole reason that they've changed, that they all weigh different amounts. Yeah. And similar will happen in humans, but most of the research that's been done is like kind of before everyone has Fitbits. And I wonder now, like how much that's, because obviously you educate your clients in that keep your steps up?
Yeah.
And do you even, like, the only way you could accurately do this, which isn't what I do with my clients, is like give them a backpack that has the amount of weight that they've lost in it.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to burn the same amount of calories for, say, like 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
But you're obviously going to become more efficient because you weigh less.
Yes.
So once you start losing that weight, maybe you need to do more steps to account for that and to create that same deficit.
Yeah.
But it is, I just think it's amazing the amount that people kind of forget how important that is. And for some people, there's even genetic variances, which, like, someone who might be predisposed to always having struggled with weight might be someone who reacts quite strongly and has, I mean, in evolutionary terms, that would be an advantage, because if there's not many calories available, you're going to save as much energy as possible by not moving as much.
Yeah.
But nowadays, that's not a great reaction to that.
Yeah.
So it can be a lot harder. But you see people that have a really strong reaction to that, and they're like, I am sticking to my calories. Like, I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. And then an uneducated personal trainer might be like, you're lying. You're not sticking to your calories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just knowing that both sides of that equation are really important.
100%. And this is why, like, on the face-to-face gym, when I was having my clients, it was easier. I don't know. I feel like I've got this weird power, right? I'm like, with certain people, I'm like, nah, this is not for you. We're going to do something else. And it's like, according to like how they are genetically, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed people, like, I've noticed the girls that I've trained before, the really lean ones, I look at their meals and stuff, it's always carbs. They're always eating carbs and all that sort of stuff. And then I'd look at someone, say, that holds a bit more body fat, and their food intake is always like high fat and everything. And I've always noticed that the girls that are on higher carbs, their energy output is always a little bit more. And I'm not saying I did a study on this, but this is just, I wouldn't know how to, I wouldn't know how to, but I pay very close attention to people and how they act around me and just body movements and all that stuff. And this is why with some of the people that are high body fat, I'm like, okay, let's start with maintenance calories and see how you respond. Because the best results I've actually got is when I've hit maintenance calories, but I've had so much energy and my training was so good that I know my output was huge. I was doing 25,000 steps a day when I was living in Sydney, and it used to feel like nothing. I was eating 3,000 calories a day. I was on maintenance calories, and I was doing 4 to 5 sessions a week. And I couldn't believe how lean I got. And I was like, okay, I've actually upped my calories. My activity has actually gone through the roof. And through the energy that I've had while I'm eating, I've put all of it into progressively overloading in the gym. Like, there's obviously a lot of variables to that can be changed and stuff, but I don't think people quite understand, like you said. And although that study is on mice, I think it's
there are ones on humans that say similar. I just like the mice study because you've got like full control over them.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Do you
but yeah, it is interesting. I think like what you're saying about like experience, sometimes people are like, oh, but there's no research to back that up, it's not evidence-based.
Yeah.
Experience, if you've been a personal trainer for 10 years, like, your experience is gold.
Yes, this is what I tell everyone that tries to be an online PT off the mark. I'm like, you're trying to be an online PT without even knowing what it's like to see how certain people move on the gym floor. And when people, like, for example, you get an online client, right? And they'll tell you something about the lat pull down and this isn't working. You'll know exactly what they're talking about because you've been in that position and your general pop clients have made the same mistake a million times and you've been there and you know how to coach it and you know how to get better. Whereas if you don't have that experience, you don't actually know. And I've noticed, okay, I don't know this, but you know, with studies and everything, right? It's usually, say someone's doing a study, a human study, right? How many people would they have on average? Would you know?
Well, okay, so for like medical research, sometimes it's massive, but the bigger the people in the study, it's often like more observational things like, oh, people who eat apples live longer. Doesn't mean that apples are making you live longer. It's just like a coincidence, and there might be a connection there. But if you're looking at sports science studies, are awful. You might have 10 people in a study.
Okay.
So you've got like one outlier, and it's, I mean, I don't want to put that out as a blanket statement. They're not all awful, but like a lot of them, you've got such small numbers that it's very hard to draw any conclusions.
And and this is like, say for example, 10 people, right? One of them's me. One of them's my mate, my Nigerian friend from East London. My other friend is my Polish friend. My other friend is from Japan. My other guy is from Jamaica, and blah, blah, blah. There is such a freakishly genetic difference on how my black friends progressively overload to me, for example, right? And people like, I would have people that live outside of London, because London's obviously very multicultural. And people in Australia used to tell me this, like one of my close friends, his name's Zane. He's an absolute weapon. He's never done steroids in his life. But people that are not exposed to multicultural people, they're like, he's definitely on juice. He's definitely on steroids. I'm like, mate.
And you're like, look at a picture of him when he was 10 years old, jacked.
Yeah, he's jacked. It's funny you say that. I remember in primary school when I used to have my swimming lessons, and I remember going and like looking at myself and looking at my black friend going, fucking hell, why has he got a six-pack?
Okay, I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that, but yeah.
No. But yeah, keep in mind that as well, because I mean, I've been in changing rooms with a lot of lads at football, and yes, big schlong, if that's what you're asking.
The other thing about that is most research is done, especially in sports science, on like white males who are at university. There's like barely any research on females, partly because we're really annoying. Like if you couldn't get everyone lined up with the same cycle at the same time, like that's going to completely skew results. And like there's a huge flaws in research, or huge like gaps in the knowledge. So I think that's why I don't like when someone's like, I'll only prescribe something if there's research for it. I'm like, in sports science, what's basically happening at the moment is, for example, with HIIT training, people had been doing that for years. They just thought, oh, it's a good way to exercise. And then the science was there to back it up. Oh, it does do all these things. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they're playing catch up. It might be something like, oh, we've found that all personal trainers have started prescribing, like this won't work, but like, I don't know, intermittent fasting. Now let's study and see why that works.
Oh, okay,
it's almost like the flip.
Yeah, I get you. That's funny you say that about people at like stunning universities. And yeah, you're right. Majority of universities is going to be white people.
Yeah.
and it's so true. I've never actually thought of that either. Because so that's why I'm like, when people tell me about studies, this evidence-based, I'm like, I completely respect it, obviously, and I read it and I look into it and stuff. But for some reason, I feel like individual experience is way more powerful, like you said, you know, and I think coaches that are freakishly intelligent and do everything based on studies, no offense to any of them, but I actually think they're also very stupid.
Yeah. Well, they're just not good coaches. Like, let's say, for example, like we know that if you eat food after 6 o'clock, it doesn't mean that it's going to be stored automatically as fat or it's got higher calories in it. Yeah. But we also know that most people overeat after 6 o'clock. So if you put an arbitrary rule in, like after dinner, you don't eat anymore. Cool. That's like a set rule. That's great. Is there evidence behind that? I mean, there probably is actually, but it's behavioral.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So what's it like being a female in the fitness industry?
I think there's pros and cons to this. We kind of touched on this earlier, but I think there's, and less so within the sort of circle I'm in now, but I think especially like growing up in the fitness industry, there are like cliquey, bitchy kind of like bringing other females down. Hate that.
Yeah.
But I do think like and I can say this because I think it's probably true.
Yeah.
I've definitely been put on like body power lineups because they're like, oh, we should probably have a female in here. And like, it's fine. Like, I'm happy because then I get an opportunity. And I think as long as you then prove that you're worth that opportunity and they want you to come back again, that's
Yeah.
great. But you will do that. You'll look at like a list of speakers and you'll be like, shit, there's no girls on here.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it is an industry that it's kind of dominated by males in the industry. Well, it is, isn't it? And it's crazy. So when you were getting into the industry and everything, what female were you looking up to? Was there a female person that you were looking up to, or was it a matter of, because every time I ask this to girls, they're always a bit like, they're trying to think of someone, and I'm like, I feel like
it should come to you like that if there was one.
Exactly. It should be like bang.
And honestly, there wasn't, but I never felt like doors were shut because I was a female. I actually felt more that they were open for me because I was. And it's something I'm quite passionate about, actually, is getting more girls up there speaking, because there's some women that I know that are so knowledgeable, so good at what they do, and would be brilliant on stage, but they've got that imposter syndrome. And I even had to tell a girl the other day, she's like got her master's, she's got an undergrad, her master's, and she was like, what should I do next? Like, do I need to do this to be a good PT? I'm like, give me a list of the people you're looking up to in the industry, male or female. And I'm like, none of them have degrees. You don't need a degree. You need a bit of confidence. You need a bit of experience, and you need to be like sure of what you're saying. And unfortunately, men tend to be better at that.
That's like me. I don't have a degree. I don't have shit. But all I know is I've got my experiences, and I'm confident about what I speak. And like you said, I mean, if you are a young female, and say, for example, you come to IFS, you got the Phil Graham, you got the Jamie Alderton, you got this person, you got that person. People have been in their fitness game for a while. You see them on stage, and you're like, I first had this when James was on stage, and when I was supporting him, and I used to go open the show, and I had that feeling where I'm like, should I be here? Do I deserve to be here, sort of thing? But then after a couple of shows, that just clicks out, and this next level of confidence comes where you feel unstoppable. But I think girls like that, if any girls that are listening, you need to put yourself in that situation of being a little bit uncomfortable to actually grow from it, because you might have felt like that when you first spoke at Body Power, maybe, or no?
Oh yeah, 100%. And like still do to some extent. I really like something James said about this, about like, even if you're not confident, you can pretend to be confident for whatever it is, an hour. Cool, that's what you need to do. Or get experience, like talking to camera, going on podcasts. Like, have people been like, how do you have the confidence to talk on camera? Because it is cringe, and you just have to embrace it. Like, you're talking to yourself, it's cringy.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Just be yourself. And also it's experience, isn't it? Like, I bet you're so confident on camera, but I bet if you look back to like the first one you ever did,
I wasn't. It looks like a complete different person, because that person wasn't me. I'm now more me.
It's funny because like as soon as you put a camera in front of someone, they're like totally Diren. I'm like, just talk like we were just talking, and they're like,
yeah, that's funny. What you said about James, when we first did a show, it was in Wales. The first ever one was in Wales. It was like I think there was like 80 people or something, and there was no PowerPoint. There was nothing. I didn't even know I was involved at this point, right? I was just like, I was going to support my friend. And then the manager that signed him eventually assigned me now. They just handed me the mic, and I was like, what's going on? They're like, just do what you boys do on Instagram. And I was like, okay. So James went on, and what you said about pretending to be confident, he went on, me thinking he's going to nail it as soon as he goes on. He's like, Diren, I'm going to go on stage, and then I'm going to intro you in about 5-10 minutes. I was like, cool, bro. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to get a quick story of people, and then I'm going to come jump in, and then I'll jump in with the audience and we'll talk and whatever. He gets on stage. Within 30 seconds, he calls me out, and I know, like, he wasn't that confident as he is now, obviously. And he calls me out straight away. And then as soon as I come out, we give each other a bit of confidence, and then it just flies up from there.
Yeah.
And
it's that starting, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, even if you're not confident, like, you just got to pretend, because there's been so many times where I've bullshitted myself out of situations of a question or something that I don't know. And I've just yapped about something else, about something I'm really confident at, and just like gone ahead with it, you know? But
yeah, you could always twist things. I remember my first talk at Body Power was meant to be 40 minutes, and after 20 minutes I was like, so like, I've been through all of my slides, like that's me finished.
Q&A, you're like Q&A for the
Any more
last 20
questions?
minutes. What this is like, I always have this argument with, like, not argument, but I have this like conversation with people when I'm out, like influencers, because I know a lot of people in the fitness industry. I also know influencers because of like where I live. They all kind of live in Fulham, like around here, whatever. And I always say
That's
that, like,
funny. Do you see them always out like doing TikToks and shit in the street?
not out, but I know, like, I know of them, and like we either will have food or something and
Oh,
whatever.
right, yeah.
I wouldn't go with all of them, but the only people I'd see is like Paul Lima or Bradley Simmons or something like that or whatever. But I always tell him, I was like, the people that are like influencing and doing ads and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with doing ads. You can do your ads, I don't care. But the people that watch some of them, I'm always like, listen, there's people in the fitness industry that coach and make money out of coaching. And then there is the influencers that give you exercises, but they don't actually get paid for coaching. And this is no disrespect to them or whatever, but running a business and trying to make money out of coaching is so different to having a few 100,000 followers, a blue tick, and doing an ad and saying that you're a PT, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about that? Do you agree with me, or are you like...
Yeah, I agree. I think the other thing is, like, I've worked with people who have like over 100,000 followers, but they're not necessarily there for the right reasons. Like,
Yeah,
I have quite a small following, but my following want nutrition information. They want to be told how to exercise and diet and all. So I've got a fairly, in comparison, big business from that.
yeah,
I've worked with people who have far bigger followings, but
yeah,
can't fill group coaching programs because they're not used to. I'm like, start putting out some information, and then like the next day it's back to like him in his pants again. Like, you can't expect people, like, people are following you to look at you in your pants, which is fine.
yeah.
You won't grow a business from that coaching because you've never given them any proof that you are a good coach.
Yeah, that's I had last year. I had the opportunity to go Love Island, and
Ooh.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it for that reason, because I was like,
What, that you would just be thought of as...
I wanted to be Diren Neat Up 24/7, known for
Yeah.
fitness. I didn't want to be known for that guy off Love Island for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong. I think if I did go on it, maybe another opportunity would have come out of it or whatever. But I just thought I'd rather have, at that time, I probably had 50, 60,000 followers or whatever. I'd rather much have like 50,000 followers that are, that like my content for being fitness based and all that, instead of, say, having 1 million, 2 million non-organic followers that just follow me because I was on a show, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to get carried away with followers, because I'm not gonna lie, I look at my followers, I'm like, oh shit, I've lost this many this week. I'd have got up my game. I think it's easy to get caught up on that and worry about it. Do you ever get worried about that stuff, or are you just like...
I think it's easier because I don't have a massive following. I'm not as like caught up on it.
Okay.
And like, I would rather, like, for example, I always give this example, right? If I put a selfie up, like, not of me looking like this, but like if I do myself up and put a selfie up, I'll get way more likes than if I put up a really informative post. But people never like come to me from group coaching. They're never like, that selfie you put up on Friday, that was it for me. I was like, yes, I want you to be my coach. I'm applying for group coaching with you, whatever. But people will say, oh, when you were talking about those people that are stuck in a fixed mindset and whatever, that really resonated with me. I want you to help me.
Yeah.
But it might have only got 50 likes.
Yeah. But yeah, I see what you're saying. But those 50 likes, those 50 people are all potential customers for you, you know?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's important. So now what you got to do is put the makeup on and then talk about it.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Like, you need a bit of both, don't you?
I think so.
Like, it's good. I'm sure I grew most of my initial following from having abs. But then if you're giving them the information, they're probably like, oh, okay.
But I think this is good you do something to catch people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then you give them information that's like valuable. And this is why, like, when I do videos and all this stuff, I'm always doing something kind of stupid to kind of get the person to listen, to watch. be like, I'll put music on, I'll do a dance or something. I'm being myself, but I'm like, I need to do something to get that person to stay for 3 seconds, and then I can talk about what I'm going to talk about.
Trick them into thinking it's a fun dance, and then you're like, neat is really important.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? As long as it keeps them paying attention, then I don't care. Because then those people will come and listen to this and even get more valuable information from us, which is what is good, because let's be honest, there is a lot of bullshit out there, isn't it?
Yeah, agreed.
From the Schmerble life to boom bods and all of that stuff.
But I also I saw you like back in, who was the girl from like Geordie Shore or something?
Oh, I'm so shit with those names because I don't really care about them.
Yeah, but
yeah.
But anyway, like when someone, this is what I mean, like we give people a lot of shit, and even when sometimes when people are saying the right thing, they're like, I've been saying this for years. It's like, yeah, okay, well, you don't have 1 million followers, so you can't influence 1 million people. But it's actually great that so and so can do that and is doing that.
Holly, that's it. Holly, she was, because I've called her out a lot before for selling it, and she inboxed me. She was like, yeah, I've learned, I now know, and blah blah blah. Which I was like, oh, fair enough. But I just wanted to be like,
surprising, isn't it? Because normally people are just like, you're a hater, leave me alone.
Yeah, I know. But then I was like, okay, I was like, in my head, I was like, you're definitely going to do some sort of fitness product to sell something. And then a day later, swipe up to my calorie calculator. So I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, fair, you're obviously trying to collect data, which is fine, whatever. But in my head, I was like, as long as you're not selling BoomBod and you're telling people it's about energy balance, whatever, that's all I actually care about. Because people are so uneducated about this sort of stuff. Like, I don't know about your parents, but my parents wouldn't have a clue if I didn't tell them certain things, you know? And so many like teenagers that are watching these people, they're just like, BoomBod this, BoomBod that, all that shit.
Yeah, I guess the only scary thing is if she's then sort of like coaching people, and yeah, it's better information than she was giving out, but it's still like there is a darker side of dieting that if you're not a good coach and you can't spot those things, and you're not like screening people before and making sure that they're getting the help that they need, that can be quite a negative thing as well. So I don't know, I still think that like celebrities without any experience or even sometimes
100%.
qualifications, like that's a bit dodge.
When I think what I noticed with the people that do that is they usually get their trainer, their actual personal trainer, involved in the back end.
Oh, well, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. But then again, if that person was already selling BoomBod before, how good is that personal trainer?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, because then you can get into the argument of shit personal trainers, because there's also a lot of them.
Yeah, I know. It is a tough one.
Because like you do a 6-week course and then you're qualified, right? So
mad, isn't it?
It's mental.
But then I get a lot of people asking me like, how do you get qualified, or what, like, should I do this qualification or that one? And to be honest, most of them aren't very good. So I do normally say like, go for a cheap one. That money that you've saved on the more expensive course, put it towards like another course that's going to develop you further.
100%, yeah.
And then you can obviously get qualified quicker as well.
Yeah, I got mine at college when I was like 18. I got it for free. It took
that's not bad.
It took like 3-4 months. I was getting EMA in it, £30 a week to go to college. £30 a week to go to college, and I was like, yeah, sick. And then there was like my tutor at the time. I was doing BTEC levels, BTEC in sport, right? And she was like, Diren, you would be a good personal trainer. This is what she exactly said to me. She goes, when you say things, Diren, I believe everything that you say. That's what she said. And she was like, you have a very trustworthy face. I think you'd be a great trainer. That's what she said to me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And I was like,
strange, like,
yeah. But she was like, she was my tutor at college. She's known me for years. She knew me since I was like really young. And she made me do it. And she was like an Olympic lifting judge at some of the Olympics and all that stuff. And I went and did it. And then now I'm just PTing, which is pretty cool. I'm glad
we are today. But it is, I think that's actually quite an important thing. Like, you don't want to go to a trainer who's like, if you're like, oh, can you help me lose weight? And they're like, I mean, maybe, but there's a chance you won't lose any weight. And actually, I'm not 100% sure that you will. And like, you want somebody who's like, yes, I've done that with hundreds of people, thousands of people before. Yes, I can do that. So 100%. You do want someone that you can trust and that you're like sure of. So I think that's a good start for a personal trainer.
Do you feel like the fitness industry is like changing?
Do you know what? I hope it is, but I also don't know if actually like we're just in a different part of it. Like I think there is still like the bros and all the like competing competitions and the cheap meals and like all that crap, but I just think that's not the people I hang around with anymore. So I'm not sure. Do you think it is?
100%. I think it's a lot more. I think now it's a little bit more lighthearted. It's not as, because that old school bodybuilding, like Arnie and that.
Rising.
Yeah. Like Arnie and that, he was charismatic.
Yeah.
So everyone wanted to be like him, right? And like Pumping Iron, you're watching Pumping Iron, he's like, some of the stuff he's doing, he looks like such a bellend, but he's so likable and charismatic, he can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when other people try to do it and get that approach, I just feel like it looks really cringe. But now with the people, like I would say our generation that are coming up in the fitness industry are changing it for the better, and it's way more appealing to the masses instead of...
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, instead of like fitness is all about bodybuilding, it's like fitness is for everyone.
Exactly. Because you also have like the Joe Wicks, for example. He's coaching, he does the stuff for the masses, but I don't think he's a great coach. He's just doing stuff that's going to sell.
But then he's not a coach, is he?
Exactly. So
well, he is, but like you're not getting coached by Joe Wicks if you sign up for him.
Exactly. But when there's people, our generation coming up, if we can like appeal to both, then the masses actually get way more value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you hear like Joe Wicks getting a lot of stick and stuff, but I have had so many clients that was the start of their journey. And I feel the same about Weight Watchers or something. People are like, Weight Watchers is so stupid. Like, I'm like, you're alienating half of your client base by saying things like that. They probably all started on Weight Watchers and now great, they found you, but don't be like saying that they're stupid for starting on that, because I mean, it's out there. It's kind of what, like, imagine if you like Google, like, how do I diet? Like that will come up pretty high on the list, or you see Joe Wicks on TV or something, you're like, oh yeah, I'll train with him. 100%. If that gets you in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I first started getting into fitness, I did a lot of stupid things. I did everything, like, and I learned from it, you know? I did the low carbs, the this, the that, tried this, tried that. Like I did everything, and it kind of made me like a better coach because I kind of experienced it and I knew what worked best for me. Then when I see people making the same mistakes, I try and scoop them out before they get any deeper, you know? Yeah. And also, I mean, those people kind of make us look good, so I'm not too fussed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know?
Gives us something to talk about as well when there's no content. You're like, oh, the Daily Mail is telling us something ridiculous.
Exactly. 150%. Did, so you know the whole body positivity thing, right? I saw you do a story with, do you think this helps, with the pictures of someone doing like bending over, doing a backflip to get a crease.
Right.
And then you were like, do you think you asked people if you thought that helped? What was the percentage? I just remember that I was going to go back and look at it, but
I think it was about 60 yes, 40 no. But I actually thought it would be higher yes, just because people know that I'm friends with that person. Like, do you know what I mean? I think it was like a swayed vote, but it was really interesting because I think it does show that. Well, okay. So my view on the whole thing, I don't think that, as in like scrunching yourself over to get rolls and stuff. Yeah. I don't think that is body positivity, but I actually think it's really useful for people like the people we were talking about at the start who are doing bikini shows and things, and their whole self-worth is based on their body. And they see someone like who is a fitness model sitting down and still has rolls because that's what they have, but they think they're still fat.
Yeah.
I can see the importance of that. It's not the same as the body positivity movement.
Yeah.
But I can see that there's a place for it. But I completely agree that some people take the piss.
Yeah. But by the way, you can say her name. I've got no problems with her. I like Hayley. There's nothing wrong with that. No, because
No, I think we both like Hailey. And the thing is, it's like, it's an interesting thing because you can have different opinions.
exactly. And this is why like if I'm doing a podcast with anyone, they've got a complete different opinion to me. That's good. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it.
It would be boring if we agreed on every single thing.
Exactly.
So your view on that is that, like, do you see any place for it?
I just think when I see it too much, I'm just like, okay, now let's be honest. When you do stuff like that, the engagement is way higher.
Yeah.
Right? It's way higher. It's now the complete opposite to having a six-pack and posting a picture of what you were saying earlier to like, oh, I've got a six-pack, I'm getting loads of engagement. Now people are doing it to try and look fat to get more engagement, which is when you think about it, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, I know what's this going to happen. But then when you do another post, when you're doing an ad or you're out and about and you're wearing a tight dress, you're trying to do what you can to look good. Right. So I'm thinking, hold on a second. And I'm talking about a lot of these people because I've met a lot of these influencers out and about. And I know for a fact that they don't actually care. Right. Because especially with the influencers that are making money off the ads, they're not coaching people. So they don't actually know what goes through these people's heads. Like, I'm not being funny, but I've had clients sending me voice notes where they're crying because they feel so insecure. And then they're like, and then I've even gone back and asked these people, how does this picture make you feel? I just want to know. They're like, it's shit, because that person obviously doesn't realize how beautiful and attractive they are. And they're like, but how? That makes me feel so much worse because they don't actually think they're ever going to look that good.
I get that side, but I also think the point of the, like, why it gets so much likes and why it's like, oh, that's quite interesting, is because right next to it, you've got a picture of her looking amazing, right?
Yeah.
Fitness model.
Yeah.
And then she's sitting down, it's like, I still have cellulite, just like all of you guys. So I don't think it's not for people who are maybe in a larger body. It's for almost like borderline disordered eating, self-obsessed, checking their six packs like after every meal. It's for them to realize that actually everyone has cellulite, even if they are looking like a fitness model at other times. But then I do agree that, like, you can see someone being like, oh, here's me looking really fluffy, and someone's like, that's my bloody end goal. Like, that's ridiculous. So I totally see both sides. What okay, here's a question that I've been thinking about. So if you're like, let's say your whole following is about body positivity, and you are a larger person, do you think that you would feel pressure to stay larger?
Yes, 100%. And I know this because the body positivity girls, the models I spoke to on my other podcast, my episode 10 or something, she said she felt that pressure, and her agent actually told her to put on weight for one of the shoots.
Wow.
Yeah. So this was initial. And the funny thing when I was talking to these girls was because they loved the video that I made, because they were like, this is so fucking true, Diren, because we used to do this. We used to do this all the time.
Yeah.
And so this is why I had such confidence in that video and message, because these girls were like, we used to put ourselves in these angles to look this way to get the attention, because they were saying initially for that moment, because in a way, you know, when you kind of like talk about your flaws or whatever, it does make you feel a bit good. It's like you've got something off your chest, which is, I understand, I'll do it all the time, you know. But they were like, it was a bit of that, but that feeling was only momentarily and never actually fixed the problem.
Yeah. I kind of get it. It's like the elephant in the room, like, might come in and be like, oh, by the way, I had to change my top to this one. I was wearing a much nicer one. Like, you want to get that out of the way. Or like, oh, like, as soon as you meet someone again, oh yeah, put on load of weight over Christmas. I'm sure you've noticed. Like, get it in just before anyone, like, almost like if you say it yourself.
Yeah.
It's different.
Exactly. It's exactly like that. And then what I was telling them is that they found it funny, and because the body positivity scene in America, they all shared it. That's why it got so many views. They all shared it. The ones in the UK hated on me, especially all the ones that know me, right? They were like, they ignored it. They hated on me. And all I thought in my head was, you don't like this. you guys are being defensive about it is because you feel the way how I made that video. It is that simple, because you're being really way too defensive about it, especially when the video wasn't actually targeted to anyone at all. It was just what I've seen in general. And it was just funny to me because they were just saying how saturated it is now, and now you can't tell who actually feels like that and doesn't. That's why I made the video. But it did get a lot of attention, mostly positive, so it's all good.
But the thing is, like, to get a lot of attention, you kind of have to be on that line, don't you?
100%. Yeah, you have to.
And that is normally where the truth is as well. Is like,
you always
people are kind of pushing that.
Yeah, you're always gonna get someone that's gonna message me and call me a prick. That always happens daily, so it's fine. I'm just like, Manja now has been like, Diren, you can't buy it. You have to just ignore. I'm like, but I love to buy it. I love to give shit back, So I just like.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on if someone is like a body positivity movement person?
Yeah.
But they're so overweight that it is impacting their health.
I think they need to get healthier, because when you are really overweight, there's too many issues that's going to occur. And I've said this to, I did a BBC thing like last summer, I think it was, and there was a body positive girl, there was a plastic surgeon, there was me. It was on BBC One Extra, and we all spoke about it. And she was
what was the plastic surgeon saying?
She was saying how it's important to have good skincare, all of that stuff, but she doesn't promote people that come in. Like if someone comes in, like if you go in and you want to get, I don't know, your boobs done or whatever, right? They'll advise you the best way, but she wouldn't push you to do or try and persuade you to do something that you might not need, or to get
you should probably get your nose done as well, by the way.
Exactly. But if someone wants to come in and wants to do something that's going to make them happy, then she's going to hold their hands while she does it, which is fine, because do what you want to do with your body. Do you know what I mean? But
okay. Yeah.
But I think for anyone that is severely overweight, you can love your body. Body positivity should be loving your body, whatever fucking size you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the point, like, you love your body enough to lose the excess weight that's potentially putting yourself at harm.
Yeah, correct. But when you think about it, if you're trying to be body positivity, your body should be in a healthy state? No? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, but I think there is that, I can't remember what magazine it was on, like Cosmo or something. There was this.
The red hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the thing is, like, I think they think, oh, it's skinny white privilege kind of thing. But like, I couldn't care what she looks like. But the fact is, she isn't doing any favors for her own health. And I think that's something completely different. Like, it's not about like, we think you should look skinny.
100%.
And this exact same argument would be made for someone who was like anorexic, shouldn't be a model either. They need to get help as well.
100%.
But then there's this like, and this is what I like about body positivity, is that there's this huge middle ground where someone might be like really athletic, or someone might store a lot of body fat around their bum or something. I don't know. Like, there's a huge spectrum where you are a healthy weight, but you don't have to fit into one mold.
Yeah, I hear that. No, I hear that. 100%. No, I agree. We have to, I mean, as a PT, as like someone that works in the health industry, we have to, we should promote people to be healthy. And to be healthy, you need to be a decent weight, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember this video that you made once, right? This was a while back. Calories in versus calories out.
Yeah.
And you had the tash.
You know what? Genuinely, it was not about James. And I had been doing that for ages, just being a knob. And then James grew a moustache. And he was like,
I was hoping it was.
I thought we were friends. Like, why the hell are you taking the piss out of me?
I was like.
And then I think I actually said what you did to get out of the body positivity thing. I was like, I know that you don't coach like that, but if the shoe fits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I was like, it was. I was like, oh, Smith was like, oh, have you seen this? I was like, yeah. was like, oh, is this you? And I was like, he was like, I think so. He was like, I'm going to comment. I was like, yeah, you should. Just see what happens.
But do you know what? I think I missed, like, I think he put it on his story being like, what a fucking idiot. Well, I don't know, but I'd missed all of that.
No,
and then I looked back
no,
at
no,
my
he
phone.
didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't. He didn't.
Anyway, it wasn't about him, but I think it's still an interesting point that I think some people just make it way too basic. Like, it's not, if you've got a new client and you're just like, here's your calories, see you later.
Yeah.
They have no idea what 1,500 calories looks like, or how to make sure that they get in enough protein, enough fruit and veg, get some fats in, space that out between the day, make sure that they're not overly hungry, make sure they can still eat with their family, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously it's more than calories in, calories out, but that is as well, obviously, the foundation.
Of course. It was, I liked it because you did something to draw people's attention, and it did.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. But no, he didn't. I know he didn't put it on his story. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. He didn't. I know for sure. Because we like you, so.
Oh, I'm in.
You're in. If it was anyone else, probably go at it. Is there anyone that you don't like in the industry? Go on, man. Give me some names. Some negative stuff. Yeah.
I think we could name this like our least favorite people in the fitness industry. Not really. I don't think I follow anyone that I don't like. Okay, actually, there's one part of the industry that I'm not like mega keen on.
Okay.
And that is not all, because some of them I really like, but business coaches.
Okay. All right.
What are your thoughts?
I don't like people. There's no individual, but there is the type of person. Like when I first got to Body Power, right? When I first went to Body Power, I get this energy of people that they don't like me, right? And I know the ones that don't, I think it's the element of fear, trying to mark people's territory. Because when I first went to Body Power, where I met you, actually, I've never been to Body Power. That was the first time ever, So I feel like it was like everyone's trying to mark their territory. Everyone's trying to show everyone who the big dog is. And all I can think of was, this is why, the exact reason I hate the fucking fitness industry for that.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, I don't care, mate, who you are. I'm just going to shake your hand. I'm going to say hello anyway, And most of these people in there are people I look up to and learn from, listen to their podcasts, listen to this, listen to that. So I don't actually care. Either way, I'm just going to be like myself. But it was just funny seeing people in that environment, like walking around and doing what they can to get that verification from people to be like, oh, yes, I'm this person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think some people think that you've come out of nowhere, but you've actually been PTing for, like, how long have you been a personal trainer?
I've been I started working in the gym when I was 19. I'm now 28.
Yeah, right.
And I've been...
So almost 10 years, like...
Yeah.
And probably the fact that you haven't been, like, big on Instagram for that whole time is a good thing, because you are actually working with people. But
it's so funny you say that, and this is exactly, I think, the misunderstanding people about it, because James gave me my first plug. He gave me my first plug because I was helping him out with his coaching side of things in his academy. So initially, when I first went there, people thought, oh, this is James's friend, right? Mm-hmm. Which is normal. I understand that. I don't care. And but then after, when they started seeing me making moves and doing my own thing, they realized, oh, he's actually a coach. Like, he's been coaching for a while. But I think for some people to realize that, it probably took them a while to look into that. Either way, I don't actually care, because they're never going to actually buy into me. So I don't care what they think. But
do you see a lot of that as well? Like PTs writing content basically for other PTs to like? I'm like, none of your clients are going to care about that.
No one cares. No one cares at all. So just do what's going to help your following, because they're the people that need help. Another personal trainer doesn't need help. They don't need your help, And if they do, they can just go to their business coach or whoever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I had fun.
I enjoyed that.
This was good. Where can people find you?
At ESG Fitness or esgfitness.co.uk.
You've also got a podcast as well, right?
Oh yeah, I do. I've got the ESG Fitness podcast and also the Fitness Unfiltered podcast.
All right, guys. If you want to go find her, search that name, and when you see ridiculous abs on a photo, that is her. But just want to say thank you for coming on, Emma, and sharing the studies, the chats. I had a lot of fun. For you guys that are listening, you better subscribe. You better share it with your friends. Go check out Emma's profile. Show me some love, yeah? Because I want to be the London version of Joe Rogan. I'll see you guys later. Peace.